Hey, I'm about to show you an AI system that I built that scrapes YouTube comments from any video and turns them into fresh, high-converting video ideas. Pulls in real feedback from your audience or even your competitors so you can see exactly what people want, what they're confused by, and what they're asking for next. If this is your first time here, my name is Michele, and over the past 12 months, I've helped over 40 businesses implement AI and automation, and I've taught over 15,000 people in the process, all starting with zero technical knowledge. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the full automation step by step so you get to see how it works. Let's dive in. All right, so this right here is a full n8n automation that I built. And by the way, if you want the free resource, the whole template, you can download it for your account. All you have to do is go to my free school community, go to Classroom, go to Templates Vault, and right here, you'll see the latest video that I posted with the resource that you can download. And if you're unsure as to how to import it onto your account, there's also a tutorial right here that I made, which is import blueprint to n8n. All right, with that being said, let's dive in. So the automation itself is a workflow. So this is not an AI agent, and there's a very specific reason for that. And we'll talk about that in just a second, but it's separated into 6 different steps. The first step is list of YouTube channels. So we have a list of YouTube channels in a channel ID. So we have a channel ID from each channel. From each channel, we took the 15 posts that are most recent from their feed. We scrape comments from those posts, the most recent ones. Then we check with AI if it's relevant to what we do and who we help and who we serve. If it's relevant, it makes a title for that idea or comment, a YouTube title, a video idea that could happen based on that comment. Then, based on if it's relevant, we also generated a hook and an outline, and we store everything in Notion, which is where we store everything for YouTube ideas and so on, that we can then use to actually draft it and post it and so on. All right, cool. So the way it's gonna work, I'm going to run this. So typically you would have this running every month, but I'm gonna add a manual trigger. So I'm gonna go here, other ways, trigger manually, right here. Connect it. So I want to show you exactly how it works and how it looks and everything around it, and then we can go into step by step how it actually works and all the settings and stuff. All right, so I'm going to execute the workflow, which starts the workflow from the start. It ran over here. We script the YouTube channels. Now it's using Apify, which is an external software to be able to scrape. Scrape just means extract comments from those videos. It is going to take a while just because it's 14 items, so it's 14 videos that it has to scrape, right, for each time. As you can see right here, the actor is running, so the automation is running, so we have to wait until we get the actual result back from here. Okay, then once it's done, which took about a minute or two, it goes to the wait because we're waiting until we get the results back from Apify, and I'll explain exactly what that means. And then once we get the actual items and the results, in this case, we have 505 comments. These 505 comments will go to the first agent. So in this case, it's an AI step. It's not really an agent that checks whether it's relevant. If it's relevant, it makes the title for our video and then sends it through here to be able to then make the hook and the outline, right? In this case, we're only passing 50 items at the time, which is why we're using the loop over items, which means that out of 500, it doesn't send all 500 at the same time. It sends 50, right? And then we do 50 again and 50 again until it's done, right? To make sure that we don't time out, we don't exceed the token limit, which is something that happens with AI when you add way too much text or way too much information. Okay, now that it's done, it only passes through the ones that are valid. In this case, it's only 7. So from those 7, we generate the hook and the outline to then send it to Notion, which is where we store everything right here. As you can see, the topics are being added right now, where we have the content idea, we have the hook, and we have the outline, right? So let's take an example. So we have how to automate meta ads inside and manage unlimited videos. Then here, I have the hook. So based on this idea, I've helped over 40 businesses automate their AI and workflows. Today, I'm going to show you how to automate meta ads inside and manage. So this is a very simple hook. It follows a very specific framework that I use, which is credibility and then talking about what we're doing. And then we also have the outline right here, which is basically giving you a structured outline for the video that you can make from 1 to 8, which is great because when we're filming YouTube videos, sometimes it's hard to think through an outline, or you take some time to think through how you can position the video, what you can talk about from step by step. Instead of just going on the camera and just speaking out of nothing, right? So that's exactly what we're on the outline as well. And now what it's doing is that it's going back here. It's then doing the whole process again until all the 505 comments are being passed through. Okay, in this case, only 100 went through. And as you can see, more and more being added to Notion, and more come. So you just have a stream of video ideas that you can use for your channel, which is awesome, especially for, I'm on YouTube game, so I always do YouTube, and that's what I do right now. So this is awesome. I'm using this myself to be able to just figure out what people want, what people don't want. I feel like you don't really run out of ideas in the AI space. but it's still good to know what people want, what people are struggling with, the sort of problems that they want solved, the sort of videos that you can make based on feedback from other videos, other comments that they put on videos, right? Which is such an underrated strategy. So as you can see now, I have a list of topics, and again, this is running until it's finished, until all the 500 items are finished. So I'm just gonna skip to the part where it's done. So because it will take about 5 to 10 minutes, I'm gonna stop the automation. So it'll take too long. But as you can see now, what it will do literally was based on this one channel. So only one channel went through. It took all their videos, it scraped all the comments from those videos, it sent it through here to check the relevance. If it was relevant to us, what we want and what we do and who we serve, then it made the hook and the outline, then it sent it to our database, and then it goes back here to get through all the comments. And then once that comment is done, at least all these comments are done, then it goes back and does the second channel and the third channel, or how many channels you put. So it's a whole repetitive loop that you don't have to really do nothing apart from adding the channels there. And you can run this every month, and this just runs automatically. And you just have a content ideas that just have here with the hook and with the outline. You can then obviously review, approve, or reject, right? Whatever you want. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna refresh. We can go through step by step how I actually built this. This is, I would say, one of the more complex automations, but it actually is very simple once you break it down step by step and go through the logic of what you have to do when you're building. So again, the first step would typically be an on-time trigger, typically every single month, because we're only scraping 15 videos, and 15 videos is typically what someone uploads every month, if they're on it, right? Which a lot of YouTubers are, which is great. So we get to pull comments from their videos or even our videos, right? This can work for our videos or their videos. So on-time trigger would be the first thing. So we would have with this really on a schedule. So the schedule would be once a month. And then the first step here is to, like, the logic here is to have a list of YouTube channels that you can then run through each one and then go through the whole flow, right? So this node right here is for us to actually set the channels. So when you want to set the channels, you don't have to put the link to the channel. You add the channel ID, right? Which is what we're adding here. And I'll explain exactly what this is, what an array is and all that sort of stuff. But when you go to YouTube, let's say I go to Alex Hormozi, right? Alex Hormozi right here on the URL, he has subscriptions and he has this long code. So if I just pull everything in, I go to Miro, so I can show you exactly where the ID comes from. Okay, the ID, so we have the fixed part, which is where this one, and then we have the ID, which is this. So we would need the ID for each channel to be able to actually scrape the channel, okay? So when you go to the YouTube and you want to use a channel for this, in this case, you would just copy this, or I mean, copy only this part, right? Which is the ID of the channel, and then you would add it here. So the channel ID. Now the reason why and these are 3 different channel IDs of different competitors that I have in the space. And the reason why I have this as an array is because when you want to run 3 different things at 3 different times, you need it to be in an array and then split it out. Split it out just means that it takes an array, which is a list of different items inside, like here, for example, let me show you. It will give you 3 different things. So schema, channel ID 0, channel ID 1, channel ID 2, and then take each one individually and start running the automation. It will split it out, start running the automation individually, right? It'll go through the first one, then we'll go back, second one, go back, third one, right? So again, we have this, which is channel IDs, which I just added channel IDs of my competitors that I can go through every single time. If I wanted to add or remove, I can just simply remove this or add, right? In this case, if I wanted to add Alex Hormozi, all I have to do is go here, bracket, channel ID, and then with the small l, and then you add the code, and now this is pretty much set. Now these right here are called key value pairs. This is a key and this is a value. Okay, the key is channel ID, which is the same for each one, and the value is what is the actual thing. Yeah, you need a space, there you go. Okay, cool. So that's how you do it. And this is JSON, so the JSON has an array, and that's sort of the technical part to this. But if you just had an array, you have 3 different things, you can then split it out. So the next thing, again, is splitting it out. So we have the array. The array itself, it doesn't run through each one individually. It doesn't run through them because the array only has one thing, which is channel IDs. In this case, we want 1, 2, and 3, right? If I go here, execute step, now we can see that we have 3 items. So on the table, you can see that we go through the first one, then we go to the second one, and then we go through the third one. Okay, so now we're able to actually run the automation 1 first, second, and then third, okay? So what are we doing here? The settings here are basically channel ID, because that's the variable that we're using. In this case, channel ID, which is the one here, channel ID, channel ID. It's all the same, right? Which is why we're able to split it out. Include no other fields. We just want this, which is where we take these and then take one individually, run it, second individually run it, and third individually run it. Okay, so that's why we do it. Now, the reason why we're using this loop items is because n8n natively runs 3 of them at the same time, right? Now, obviously in 3 different things, but it runs 3 of them at the same time. We don't want that. We want to run each one individually. So to be able to only run one at a time, we have to use loop over items so that we can run this. And then at the end, when it does everything, it goes back. So that's what this is. It goes back to here and it runs the second one. So when we add batch size, which means how many items do you want to let through? In this case, it would just be 1. We have 3, as you can see here, 3 items, but we just want 1, which is why we put 1 here. Once we did this, we can then add a field. So in this case, we just have the channel ID. This is not necessary, but I just wanted to extract the channel ID so I can have it. Let me execute the nodes right here. And now I can just drag this across and put it here. So I have the channel ID to then feed in to the next step, which is where we actually scrape the videos. But this is something that's not necessary. You can just simply add this to the next step. I just wanted to have something that's more clean. So channel ID right here, which is just mapping field. And now we go to the list of top 15 videos that we have to scrape. Now, in order for us to scrape something, we typically would use Apify. So let me go here, Apify, which is basically a platform where people make their own scrapers. So they code scrapers. They do the hard part. We do the easy part, which is just using it, right? And the good thing about Apify is that it's actually free. So not necessarily free because we still have to pay. But if I go here to the one that I actually used before, and I'll explain exactly what this is, we can see that for this scraper, to scrape 1,000 results, which in this case is 1,000 comments, we have to pay 40 cents, okay? And we are basically scraping about 20 comments, 20, 30 comments per video. So we're paying nothing really. And we have $5 for free from Apify. So if you do the math there, you're basically paying nothing. So that's why we use Apify here. But for the YouTube videos, we also can use something called an RSS feed. Now the RSS feed is basically a way for you to tell the web, like, hey, using this URL, go out and scrape, go out and find the YouTube videos that we can use. Now, in order for us to set up the RSS feed, we can go here, RSS feed, and then we go to this page right here, and then we have to add a URL. So the URL is something that is fixed. The only thing that changes is the channel ID. So we go through here, with then channel ID 1, we scrape all the videos, channel ID 2, scrape all the videos, channel ID 3, until we finish all the videos, right? Now, how do we know this URL? How does this happen? Well, if I just go to Google and I search up RSS feed YouTube channels, I can see that if I usually go to Reddit, or you can see it here as well, that you can use this. So https www.youtube.com. So this is just a format for the YouTube videos. If I go here, I can see that this follows a very specific format. It follows the https.youtube.com, feed, subscriptions, and then the code, right? In this case, it would be this. It wouldn't be subscriptions. Yeah, it would be feed. So you go here, you copy this, you would paste it here, right? And then the only thing you have to change is this part right here, channel ID here, which is where we pull in the variable from the previous step to here. That's exactly what I did. So in this case, if we execute this step, we can see that now we I think this is Nick's Arrive. Yeah, Nick's Arrive. We scraped the videos from Nick's Arrive and we have 15 of them. So 15 items means that we have 15 videos. And this only scrapes the top 15 videos. If you want to scrape more, you could use Apify to scrape a list of 100. But I feel like for the most recent ones are good because they are the most recent ones. So they're on top of like the most recent one, which is great to scrape, which is exactly what we want. So here you can see the 15 videos, right? Why automation beginners should start this platform and all this sort of stuff. So that's what we want to see. And that's what this does essentially. And if you change the channel ID, you change the videos that you're scraping. So it's very, very easy. And you can see we just ask Google and it gives us the URL. Okay. If I go here, then what we want to do is, and this comes from testing. A lot of the videos that people post, not a lot of them, but some of them are shorts. They're not long form videos. So we want to be able to filter based on whether it's a long form video or a short form video. So if I go here, I can see that the link, so the link right here, yeah, the link right here, if it's a short, it will say it's a short. It will add the name of shorts here, okay? And this will tell us that it is a short. Now you can't see it here because this is a long form video, but if it was a short, I think it would say https://youtube.com, watch, I think shorts something, and that tells us that it is a short, okay? You can't see it here just because this is a long form video, but bear in mind that we're just saying, hey, don't let any shorts through. I just want long form videos because they're more validated. Like that's what they're actually posting. And usually shorts are just a way for people to repurpose their long form videos and then bring them to, which is exactly what we do, right? So, okay, so JSON link, we're saying, hey, let me drag this across. If the JSON link does not contain shorts, then send it through. Okay, so there are cases, so let me go here. So see how 14 items went through is because, let me go here and show you, I think there has to be a short here because only 14 went through. There we go. So you see how on this URL, why saturation doesn't matter. This is a short, and if I go here, I can see
just something.
This is a short from Nick's Arrive, right? And this in comparison is a long form video. So we basically don't want any shorts. We want the long form videos. So, and the only difference between each one is that the short contains shorts here. All right, so the filter is done. And then we go through the Apify. So third step is scrape 100 comments from the videos. So if you go to Apify and you go to actors, so again, Apify is a way for us to be able to scrape. Scrape just means extract different information from the web. For the YouTube videos that we're talking about, we want to scrape the comments. So typically what I would do is you would go to actors or Apify store, sorry, and you can search for actors. Actors, again, are just different pieces of code, different scrapers that you can use to scrape whatever you want. So if I added YouTube comments scraper, what I would do first is I would look at payment method because I typically want the pay on results or pay per output, right? Like 40 cents per 1,000 comments because then I don't have to pay. Some of them make you have to get a subscription for Apify, which is the ones that we don't want. But let's say I go here. This is $2.40 for 1,000 comments. This is, yeah, this right here is $20 per month plus usage. So we would typically have to pay for the scraper. So we don't want this. 50 cents for 1,000 scrapers, that's fine. And then 25 a month, so we definitely don't want this. I found a scraper. What was this? YouTube comment scraper. So grow social media YouTube comment scraper. So if I go here and search it up. Yeah, there we go. I found one that's 40 cents per 1,000 results. Okay, so this is right. You just have to copy this. You can copy grow media YouTube comment scraper and you'll find this. This is the cheapest that I found and gives you the best result, right? And the thing that we can add to this, that we can actually, the fields, right, itself are the YouTube video URL and the maximum comments. So what's the video and how many comments you want to scrape? So if I go to Apify, if I go here, back to n8n, I can add a run an actor. So run an actor just means we're giving you the actual video, go out and scrape, right? So we scrape it. And then, so let's say I go to execute step. What this will do is that it will take the URL from here. It will give it the JSON link and it will tell it, hey, maximum comments is 100. So if I go here to runs, now you can see that it's running. And we've got 45 comments so far. And these are all the comments, right? We can have a lot of comments from these videos, which is exactly what we want when we are scraping videos. And that's exactly what we have with Apify. Now to connect your Apify account, you just have to go here, create a new credential, and then you need an API key. The API key, you can find, I believe it's settings, API integrations, and then you can have, yeah, this right here. Default API token, yeah. You can copy this, and then you can paste it to right here, and you can save it, and you have the connection. And then you have to choose the actor. And by the way, you have to save the actor first. So if I go to actors, YouTube comment scraper, you have to save it. So save here, or start it, at least make a test run to be able to see it here. That's one of the things that I struggle with at the start. You want to run an actor, that's the action. Recently used actor, that's fine. Actors here, and then the input JSON is what we get from here, which is basically saying, hey, what's that thing that's going into the actor? So we put this, and now we're waiting for the feedback or for the actual output. So if I go here to runs, I can see that this is still running. I believe we got it back. Or I think it's going through all the 14 items. Okay, I know why. Let me just stop this. This will still keep on running. The reason why I kept on running is because we go through the 14 items and it's going through all the 14 videos, which is why it takes quite a bit. It takes like 1 to 2 minutes or 2 to 3 minutes based on the type of video it is. Okay, so once we have that, we can add a weight because of the fact that here, the output, it isn't the actual comments. We get a database data set ID. So if I go here to save executions, I can see the previous one that I had. Okay, I went to one that I did yesterday. If I go here, copy to editor, I can see that this one, it ran, it gave it to Apify. And as you can see here, we don't get the actual comments. So we don't get the comments anywhere here. This is a bunch of stuff. What we need is this. What we need is default dataset ID. So default dataset ID is a thing that we then feed into the next node, which is get dataset items, which needs the default dataset ID. So what we do here is we go to the run and after. We then look for default dataset ID, which is something you have to do every single time with Apify. It's just the way it works. So we drag it across, and this is a thing that it's now going to use to be able to get the results. And now this is giving us the comment ID, comment text, like count, replies, all that sort of stuff, right? That we want. Once we get the actual results, what we want to do now is, because of the fact that we get, let's say 500 comments like you saw before here, which is the output of the actual get dataset items, we don't want to run through 500 items all at once. We want to be able to batch them. So basically saying, just like before, we don't want to run through all the channels at once. We want to say, hey, we have 500 comments, but I'm only letting 50 through. And this is where the relevance and will come in. Because now we're using a loop item again, which is where we're saying, hey, I know we're getting all these comments, but I only want to let 50 through, and then you can run it back and get the others that are left. And then do it all and over again until the comments are finished. So loop items, once this is done, is we add it to an agent. I mean, in this case, it's not an agent, it's an AI step. To connect your OpenAI to n8n, you have to create a new credential. API key, you can find it at platform.openai.com under dashboard, API keys, create a new secret key, create it, and then you can paste it right here. You can save it. Now, once this is done, this will be text, message, and model. The model will be 4.1 mini because I usually use a mini because it can take more information, right? And because right now we're giving it 50 comments at once, all at once in the AI, it will take a while to process. And the prompt that we give it is first a system prompt, which is a prompt that we give the AI when we want to say, hey, you are a helpful, intelligent, whatever it is. In this case is you are a helpful, intelligent content writing assistant. So we give it an identity so the AI thinks it is that thing, and the output will be higher, the quality. And then the user prompt will be, below is a YouTube comment for one of the videos. Your task is to determine if the comment is relevant and if it includes any questions, inquiries, or suggestions that we can use as an idea for future video. Return your output as JSON. And then we can add a few examples. So in this case, you would have a system, a user prompt, and then to give it a few examples, you give it a user and assistant. Okay, so what this means is that we give it, hey, if I give you this comment, this will be the output. Okay, so the user is me giving it something. The assistant is what's the output that you want to have. And I'm giving it 2 examples in this case, or 3. Yeah, 3 examples. So the first example would be, is there any reason to use an AI agent node instead of basic LLM chain, which is an actual comment that someone put in a video. And here will be relevant. So content idea is AI agent versus basic LLM node. When should you use each one? That could be a solid content idea, or something else. So this is a video from Nate Herc. Someone said a small request. Can you please make a video on client onboarding? So these sort of things is exactly what we want to see, right? So someone's asking for a client onboarding for n8n projects. The content idea in this case would be how to onboard your clients for an n8n projects. And this is relevant. But if someone puts thank you, because they put thank yous in your grade and all that sort of stuff, we don't want to put it as a relevant idea because there's no idea here. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We are giving it a system prompt. So saying you are helpful, intelligent, whatever it is. Then here we're saying, hey, this is what you have to do. And then we want to be able to add the comment first. What's the output that I want? Comment, output, comment, output. So it has 3 different examples, one that's relevant, two that are relevant, and one that's irrelevant. So it knows exactly sort of where to go. And then this is the comment. So the last prompt, which is the user prompt, which you can add a message here, will be the actual comment. Yeah, so we're using JSON here because of the fact that we want the verdict and we want the content idea as separate variables that we can then feed in to the filter and the other steps. Okay, so in this case, 502 went through. In the filter, only 199 went through based on the 502, based on the response from the actual AI. And the filter in this case, it's if the verdict is relevant. So if the variable verdict is relevant. Let me add a, in this case, it would be verdict relevant. And then content idea, how to make a n8n agent from scratch. I'm gonna pin this, and then this is basically what it's gonna see. It's gonna see verdict, which is the one that I put here, and then it's gonna see the content idea. But in this case, we're saying only if this is relevant, then send it through. Okay, so once this is done, we can now add some fields. So this were the fields that will be added to the hook and outline. This is again, is an optional step, but I just wanted to add fields because I like adding fields to be able to separate information. Because again, what we did is we scraped 100 comments, we sent it to the AI, and we said, hey, only run 50 at once. The AI checks whether it's relevant or not. If it's relevant, it will send it through to the hook and outline because it's a relevant comment, it's a relevant idea. We could use it. Now we want to generate the hook and outline, which we did before here, hook and outline, which is why we're using this AI step. But in order to generate the hook and the outline, it needs to sort of understand what we do. So what I added here is 2 variables, which is social proof, which is basically some results that I have, and what I do, and some tone of voice of direction. This is the tone of voice and direction. And this is what I feed into my next AI step, which is an AI step that generates the hook and the outline, like I mentioned before. And the settings will be the same. The system prompt will be, you are a helpful, intelligent content writing assistant. We can also write intelligent hook and outline, YouTube hook and outline writing assistant. That's more contextual to what we're doing. And then we're saying your task is to generate high quality, engaging hooks and outlines for content ideas. You'll receive a content idea in JSON and you'll return it in the following format: hook, string, outline, string. And then these are the different things that we give it. So you can see this is the projected output that we get. And now we give it a few examples, I believe. Yeah, we give it a few examples. So in this case, the content idea will be build a RAG agent inside of n8n, and the assistant will be this. Right now we're giving it the content idea. And because we told it to give it to us in JSON, which is just a programming language, it will give us the JSON language into 2 different variables. So it will be hook and it will be outline. And the string is just something we say when we want it to say it's just text, right? So we say, give me the hook in text, give me the outline in text. Give it an example, and now you can see red because it's not, this is not correct, or like this, what is it, this? Yeah, this is not correct. But this would pass through the content idea, again, which is something like this, content idea, build a RAG agent instead of n8n. And now this will give us the hook and the outline, which we can then send to another set of variables, which takes all the variables and puts them all into one place. Again, not needed, but I love to split information so we're more structured with the way that we do things. And now, once this is done, once we set the variables, we can send it to Notion, the YouTube comment database, where we have everything here, where we want to see all the common ideas. All you have to do, connect Notion, is go to here, create a new credential, and then you can get an internal integration secret. You should follow this guide. It will take you through everything that you need to do. It's a bit more of a longer process. You can use Google Sheets as much as you can use Notion. I'm just a Notion fanboy, so I love to use Notion. And in this case, it will be database page because this is the database, right? This right here is a page. From the list, in this case, the database is called YouTube Comment Scrape Database. So we can do YouTube Comment Scrape Database. The title will be, what's that first thing, which is this, content idea. So it'll be the content idea. The hook will be this. The outline will be this. Initial comment will be this. Because I want to see also what the initial comment was to make sure that I know exactly if the AI have messed up or not. Right, so we get the hook, the outline, and the initial comment. If I go here as well, I can see the initial comment. For example, what's the average time most of your students take to get their first client? So how long does it typically take to get your first client, and what additional investment are needed beyond, and what investments do you need? So you can make a video about how do you get your first client automation journey with $0 upfront, right? And that will solve this sort of pain point that this person has. So that's something you could do. So we get the comments, we get the hook, and we get the outline. We put it all into, in the title, we put it all into Notion. And now, once this is done, it will then loop back. So we go here, loop it back to here to get the other comments that are valid. And it will do it all and over again until it's finished. And then we wait, and then we send it all the way back here where we can do the other channels. So we'll go through the 3 different channels. And let's say you have 10 channels, it will go through the 10 channels, right? And it will just run it every single month. Now, typically, I would suggest that you run this every month or every week. It depends on the amount of channels that you have, to be honest. But because we're scraping 15 YouTube videos, we also don't want duplicate comments, right? And we don't want to give it the same content ideas. So think of a YouTuber, a normal YouTuber. They typically post like what, once every 3 days. And in a month, that's about 10 videos. So if you put that in mind, you can run this every month and 5 days, and it will be free, right? I mean, you would only have to pay for n8n from the start until the end, which is a very good pricing model that they have. So that right there is for the way that it's set up. Or we obviously have the different steps and make it as structured as possible. And when you look at cost and how much it actually takes to run this, Apify, as I mentioned right here, so let's say we have 29 results and 1,000 results is 40 cents. So do the math there, it's 0.000. It's not even a noticeable amount of money that I have to even mention, right? So it's not really expensive or at all, it's free because we get the $5 free from Apify that you can use to be able to run this. And the other expenses really are the AI, which because we're using 4.1 mini, it's relatively cheap. So there's nothing really to worry about. I think it would be a few cents or 0.01, whatever, because it's very, very cheap, like I mentioned, and n8n. So n8n charges you per execution, which means from the start until the end. So if you're doing it maybe 10, 20 times, again, this is very, very cheap because you're running it every month and so on, right? So this is very, very cost effective when it comes to an actual system. And that's exactly what we have this for. Now, again, if you want the full blueprint right here of the whole system, then make sure to go to my school community right here, which is the AI automation circle, go to classroom, go to templates vault, and then you will see a video right here with the blueprint that you can download. And you also have a tutorial telling you exactly how you can import it into your n8n. Now, who can you actually sell this to? Well, YouTubers, content creation agencies, they always need to, done for you YouTube content agencies, they need to always come up with new ideas for their clients. So if they have a system that scrapes through all the different comments for their clients and sees, it's actually validated data. It's not just stuff that they make up, because that's what people are actually asking for, right? So if they have a system like that, it saves them a bunch of time in the actual strategy and titles and hooks and outline, all that sort of stuff that they have to allocate right now. So you can save them that time of actually doing the actual work. So that right there marks the end of the video where I showed you exactly how I built an AI system that scrapes YouTube comments from many videos and turns them into fresh, high converting ideas. And if you like this sort of videos and you want to dive deeper into n8n, then check out this video on the screen where I actually build a system step by step, which is a human in the loop AI sales agent. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one.